I was watching a basketball game last night and I started to wonder how many shots must these players take in training for every shot they take in a real game. Obviously, this is almost impossible to know for sure, but after a little bit of digging online, I came to the conclusion that the ratio has to be in the high hundreds, if not in the thousands. And that means that for every shot we see on TV, that player took hundreds in practice. Now, this is not a perfect analogy. Photography is not a sport, but I'm a big believer in the value of a daily photography practice. It's like training for photographers, but also much more. A daily photography practice builds momentum. Creativity is a habit, and like any habit, creativity momentum is not built in one day, but over weeks or months. I don't know about you, but personally I find it much easier to keep those good habits going than falling into bad habits and then trying to break the cycle and starting from scratch. And this applies to photography. When I don't take photos for a while, and that can be like a week or 10 days, I find it hard to start again. Not because I forgot how to use a camera, but because I'm not in the habit of looking, of paying attention anymore. Momentum keeps my vision, your vision, in shape. A daily photography practice sharpens our vision. Most of the time, it's not that there are no good photographs around us, it's just that we can't see them. We are distracted. We are deep in our heads thinking about the next meeting or about what's for dinner or if we have to pick up the kids from school. That if we are not stuck on our phones, doom scrolling. But when we travel, we pay more attention because everything is new to us, and most likely we are not going to have a meeting that day. We might not have to think about what's for dinner, and we might not be picking up the kids from school. And because we look, because we pay more attention, we see. If we did the same back at home, we'd see many more images. And daily practice can be the antidote. With enough practice, camera gear gets out of the way. I believe that using our camera and lenses should be second nature to us. We practice daily, so we know our gear inside out. We know what to expect in different lighting conditions, in different locations, with different subjects, what we can do, what we can't do. This means that not only we take photos on a daily basis, but we also work on them in post. We edit them. This way we get to know our editing software and we'll have a much easier time visualizing the final image in the field. Editing is a crucial step of the creative process. If you want to improve your post-processing, I have an ebook for you. In this book, I discuss in detail every technique I've learned over the last 10 years of doing photography. It contains everything I know about editing. It's not only a great way to learn, but also an awesome way to support my work. You can go here or follow the link in the description if you are interested. By taking photos often, we can identify when the camera is not working out for us. So we can set it up in a way that works better. So when the big moment comes, the big finals, following the sports analogy, we know what to do, what every button in our camera does. Because when you are out there, you're going to be facing an unfamiliar location. You're going to be facing the weather conditions. It might be raining, it might be snowing, it might be cold, or it might be very hot. You're going to have to deal with all of that. And if you add on top of that not knowing your camera, then you're going to have a much harder time trying to find good compositions. Taking photos often or even daily doesn't mean that we don't take them seriously. Here, I'm not proposing a daily practice of casual photography, of putting less thought into our images. I personally take every photo I take, no matter if it's here at home or in, say, Iceland, equally seriously. I believe that in order for this daily practice to really work, we have to be intentional with all the things that we are intentional about in the field, is with the composition, the light, the message, the subject matter. And this is where the analogy with the sports kind of falls apart a little bit, because that basketball player warming up before the game, they might be making amazing shots, amazing three-pointers or whatever, but those don't count toward the final score of the game. That is not the case with our photography. If we make an amazing photograph on the way to the trailhead or even at home, that totally counts. That can go in our portfolio, in our next book, or we can make prints of that. Practice reconnects you with the feeling of being a photographer. I like to start taking photos as early as possible on days when I'm heading out for photography, even before leaving the house, because it gets my creative juices going. This is not like it's a muscle, a physical muscle that we need to warm up. Athletes, they need to get their heart going. They need those muscles stretched to avoid injuries. We don't need that as photographers. The camera doesn't need to warm up, but athletes don't do it only because of that. If that was the case, almost every sport could have the same warm-up routine. But basketball players take shots, tennis players hit the ball with a racket, soccer players kick the ball, and that is because that reconnects them with the feeling. It's the same when it comes to photography. When we grab our camera, we reconnect with that feeling of being a photographer, of looking through the viewfinder, of finding that world out there that we want to create with our photography. These are the reasons why I developed a daily photography practice, and when I don't do it, I suffer, my creativity suffers. But I want to make clear that this is not about grinding, this is not about counting the amount of photos that we take every day. It's all about staying in touch with the creative process, paying attention so we don't lose that habit. It's about keeping our eyes open, our instincts sharp, and our creativity engaged. So this is my challenge for you. Start taking photos on a daily basis and do it in a similar fashion to how you would do it in the field. Again, take it seriously, but start small, because like any habit that we want to develop over time and maintain, we need to start little by little, step by step. So even if it's just 10 minutes a day, grab your camera, play with the buttons, go through the menus, take some photos, even if it's just at home, load them into the computer, edit them, and see what's possible, what you can make of them. All right, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.